The time is here, and of course, Africa, the villagers, the village meeting is about to be set over there in Morocco as the best of football in action is about to go down on the continent over there in the Kingdom of Morocco, where the best of skills, defense, goal-scoring abilities, and goal-saving abilities as well from the goalkeepers will go down in history as the AFCON is upon us. And Nigeria hoping to please the fans because they cannot qualify for the World Cup, hoping that they can get to win this one and say sorry to the football fans. Will it happen, or will another country emerge champions? I am Udoka Njoko, and welcome to the special edition of the Africa Cup of Nations show, AFCON Express. I'm not alone in the studio. I've also got Babatunde Koiki right here, and we will be going through the show together, giving you the very best of football and activity analysis, and of course, what to look forward to in the AFCON to come upon us in less than 12 hours from now. Welcome to the show, Tunde Koiki. Thank you. Great time, and we're looking forward to the best of African football.
Absolutely. It's been a long time coming. Everybody's been waiting for this one. It's a tournament that is very highly anticipated for the very simple reason that Morocco is planning to put on a show in preparation for the next FIFA World Cup. And also, don't forget, Morocco is basically an hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours from major European capitals. So expecting a huge influx of people. The facilities that they put together for the 9 stadiums in the 6 cities are possibly second to none on the African continent as well. So, and of course, you know, Morocco is the top 5 tourist destination on the African continent. So you can imagine that the hospitality, the quality of the pitches, the quality of the facilities, interconnectivity for fans, and also the quality of the football is also going to be top notch. So we're looking forward to it.
You know, there was a story where I think one of these European greats who spoke about African football not being up there, and we've seen several responses from our very own JJ Okocha. So it surely proves that football in Africa is not on the rise anymore, but it's up there.
He's talking about Jimmy Carragher, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, you should have name checked him. But I think Jim Carragher was being ignorant. But thankfully, a lot of African footballers who have been there, done that, played at the highest level, were more than happy to educate or school him. And the honest truth is that African football really doesn't get the respect it deserves. And that is why we are continually being pushed around by FIFA in connivance with CAF. If you do recall, this Africa Cup of Nations was supposed to have been held in the summer. But because FIFA were planning to implement their brand new shiny FIFA Club World Cup, they pushed it to the first ever AFCON that will be holding in December and January. Never been done before. So this is a new one. It's a new it's a new scenario for quite a lot of people, for teams, for clubs, for fans. It's for everybody. It's something different. But then again, you also realize the fact that normally the standard release period for players ahead of the AFCON is 14 days. CAF cut it down to 7, which has never been done before again. So a lot of these teams have really not had the best of preparations. We might see a few shaky starts at the start of the group phase, but as the tournament progresses, I expect to see quality football.
All right, expecting to see quality football right there. Now let's delve straight into the stories that we have for you. Remember, you can reach us on social media and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at News Central TV. Now, Nigeria have announced that Turkey-based midfielder Wilfred Ndidi will captain the team in succession to William Troost Ekong, who recently announced his retirement from international football. Nigeria will launch their Group C campaign against Tanzania in Fez, then face Tunisia and Uganda in the same city. Ndidi now shoulders the weight of a nation's hope, a testament to leading not just in calm, but in the storm of expectation and, of course, renewal. Let's hear from the captain of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Wilfred Ndidi.
And with the help of the players, I think everything will go smooth. About the conversation with a couple of players, just some of the older players, you know, just try to make them understand the reason why we're here, you know. Also need the support also from the staff. We're all in this together, so we just have this conversation of the task ahead, you know. So, and it is very important we all be on the same page. As a great leader, he speaks a lot for the team. He stands for the team, and he tries to take everything in for the team, you know. And I admire him a lot, and how outspoken he is, and I think he's one person where everyone in the team look up to, you know, like is that guy that actually like stands for the team like I said earlier, speaks for the team, encourage everyone, and he's an amazing guy. I've learned a lot from him. And also, we spoke a couple of weeks ago, and I just to chip in some advice, from him, once in, once out, So I feel like he's still part of the team, and is gonna be missed. Yeah, it was a sad one, missing out on the World Cup, and this is another opportunity. They say another day, another opportunity. It's another opportunity to correct the wrongs and put smiles on the faces of Nigerians and make the country proud once again. It's not going to be an easy task, but we're really, really up for it. We know the task ahead, and we look forward to enjoying it together.
Looking forward to the tournament, looking forward to the captaincy of Wilfred Ndidi leading the Super Eagles charge right there in Morocco. Well, another player who we were actually looking forward to seeing, but this time around he will not get to feature for Ivory Coast, is Sebastian Haller, who led host nation Ivory Coast to the Africa Cup of Nations title in the last edition. He has been ruled out of the tournament starting on Sunday because of an injury. The Ivorian Federation of Football said on social media on Friday that Haller will miss the event in Morocco because of an injury sustained while playing for Dutch team Utrecht. Haller reportedly injured his hamstring in a match against NAC Breda last Sunday. He was to be replaced in the Ivorian squad by Aston Villa player Ivan Gisand. Now, still talking about the AFCON news, now let's go straight to the next one. And of course, it has to do with the Confederation of African Football and prize money. The prize money structure for the highly anticipated AFCON 2025 has been unveiled, set to be hosted in Morocco. The tournament will feature 24 nations with a total prize of $32 million up for grabs, according to the official breakdown. Now, the stakes are high for teams aiming for continental glory. For the champion will earn $7 million. Runners-up will earn $4 million. Semi-finalists will earn $2.5 million each. Quarterfinalists will earn $1.3 million each. Now, round of 16 participants will earn $800,000 each. Third in the group will earn $700,000 each, while fourth in the groups will earn $500,000 each. This is a money-spinning tournament. Now, CAF emphasized that this prize distribution ensures that all 24 participating nations receive financial rewards reflecting the organization's commitment to supporting football development across the continent. All right, on our last story, talking about the news now, Mozambique head coach Chiquinho Conde and his squad are heading to Morocco with clear motivation and nothing left unsaid. The message from the Mozambican Football Federation is simple: fight, believe, and leave everything on the pitch. Now, the president, Faisal Sidat, has revealed that the scale of commitment placed behind the team, underlining why the members have every reason to die with their boots on at the Africa Cup of Nations. Sidat disclosed that the players are fully aware of what is at stake financially if they achieve the ultimate dream. Now, each player stands to earn 1.5 million meticals, roughly USD, talking about $23,000 in bonuses, should Mozambique go all the way and lift the AFCON trophy. Now, the FMF president explained that the rewards are performance-based, with bonuses reducing if the team fails or rather falls short of the title. These are stories that we have for you, talking about our AFCON news. Today, which of these ones appeal to you? How much particular about the money spinning tournament from CAF doling out a lot of cash rewards for all of the participating teams?
Well, it's unsurprising because over the last 12 to 24 months, CAF has consistently been announcing that they've been getting new sponsors, new partnerships all across the world, and that means that their coffers are also burgeoning. And it's only right and fair that the teams that will be participating at the Africa Cup of Nations get a major part of that. So it's also a greater incentive for teams to put in their best, knowing that for every stage which they finish, it's consistently graduates to an even higher level of, incentive for them. So it's only right and proper. But I think one of the stories that also caught my eye was the fact that Wilfred Ndidi is now the captain of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It's an amazing story because I might not have said this before, but I think it was 2014. Former Super Eagles media officer Toyin Bitoye and I, we went to watch an amateur game for NAF Boys where he was playing. And I remember very clearly after that game, Toyin Bitoye marched onto the pitch and shook Wilfred Ndidi's hand. That's the first time I ever saw him. I told him, one day you play for the Super Eagles. And not only did that come true, they were also in the same Super Eagles at the same time where Tony Bitu was media officer. He's gone on to captain the team. And it's an amazing story for a player who started playing for Nigeria's under-20 national teams, had his first cap in 2015, I think was the international friendly against DR Congo, and now he's the veteran in the team. I think he's the most cap player in that squad now. No, I think, yeah, he's the most cap player in that squad now. 71 caps, and I think it's just reward for a player who has been a good servant for Nigeria. A lot of people forget that he actually missed the last Africa Cup of Nations due to injury. Just weeks before the kickoff. So this is, I think it's a full circle for a player who has really done his part in terms of promoting Nigerian football.
Right, but a lot of people still argue that they would have preferred somebody who is more aggressive, outspoken, more like a Victor Osimhen on the pitch.
I get that. I honestly understand why that would be. And personally, I would have preferred a Victor Osimhen too, because he has that raging fire in him, that ability to never say die. But can it also translate to galvanizing players to also want to raise their game? Sometimes players who have this kind of all-consuming fire, it tends to burn people rather than to inspire them. But I still think Victor Osimhen would have been a great captain because he leads by example on the pitch. He might not be the most vocal, but he has plenty of experience, been there, done that, played at the FIFA World Cup, played at an Olympic Games as well. He played at 2 Africa Cup of Nations as well. So he has experience, tournament experience in camp with players of different ilk, of different backgrounds. But normally, I think the criteria used in Nigeria usually the longest serving player in the national team. Not necessarily the most, the most charismatic, but the one who has served the longest. And I think that's why they give it to him. But I think it's a great choice.
A great choice. But again, what exactly would you say is a standout quality of a captain? How effective is this captaincy to a team? For Arsenal, for example, there's an Odegaard there, and a lot of people believe that Declan Rice would have been a better captain. When Jamie Carragher was playing for Liverpool, he was a great captain playing for Liverpool as well. So we have players who have that leadership quality who are not even captains of the team, but they can lead on the side.
So it's instrumental that you should mention this because over the last few years, the captains of the Nigerian national team have basically been people who the NFF hierarchy can trust. Someone that they can use to get through to the players. Not necessarily, and if you look at that that announcement, it was the NFF that announced that the captain had been appointed. They didn't tell us the process. Was he handpicked? Was he chosen by the players? Nobody said that. But it's most likely, in my opinion, that he was handpicked by the NFF hierarchy, being the longest serving player, and say, okay, let's give it to him because he's someone who won't rock the boat. He's somebody who will not be prove to be a disruptive influence. He's someone that we can reason with and bargain with. And that's, I think that's the quality they chose him for because he's not the most disruptive of players. When you hear that there's something going on in camp, you never hear his name being attached to it. But I get what you mean. A captain should be charismatic. A captain should have excellent leadership qualities in terms of leading by example. He should also have great persona. He should also be approachable, relatable. I get that the captain should have all these qualities. But I'm not so sure because I'm not a Super Eagles player. I've never been in camp. I can't say if Wilfred Ndidi comes across as that kind of player. But if you ask me, I think the NFF chose him specifically for the quality that he's a man that they can deal with.
A man they can deal with. We look forward to the Eagles when they take on their first game in Group C. That will be on Tuesday. And we'll see the leadership quality that Wilfred Ndidi really does possess, being the captain of the Super Eagles side. Let's go on a break. When we return, there's a whole lot more to talk about right here on the show. Remember, it is the AFCON Express. Thanks for staying with us. It is still AFCON Express on New Central TV. I am Udoka Njoku. I've still got Babatunde Koiki right here in the studio. And of course, we're talking everything Africa Cup of Nations happening right there in Morocco. In a couple of hours' time, we'll get to see the beautiful stadia right there in Morocco, talking about the opening ceremony of the tournament. And of course, we keep talking about Morocco being the next best thing when it comes to African football. And we know how they've done great things, and not just right there being the facilities that they've actually built. We've also seen them improve on their football, wanting to become world beaters. We've seen them at the World Cup. We've seen them in Morocco, and talking about the Africa Cup of Nations as well, doing so great when it comes to football. And again, we're going to see them when the AFCON kicks off. Well, Onyechi Obaro, our sports anchor, also put together a beautiful package. Let's get to see it.
In a few days, the Kingdom of Morocco would roar with the sound of drums, vuvuzelas, and tens of thousands of fans as the African Cup of Nations 2025 kicks off. But this is more than a tournament, it is a rehearsal for a global stage. After successfully hosting the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations and serving as home for many of Africa's nomadic national teams during the AFCON and the World Cup qualifiers, Morocco has firmly cemented itself as Africa's football hub. Morocco's stadium revolution is unprecedented. Across 9 stadiums in 6 cities, the country is not only preparing for the AFCON, but also preparing to co-host the 2030 FIFA World Cup alongside Spain and Portugal. Rabat alone boasts 4 world-class venues, including the newly rebuilt Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium with nearly 69,000 seats, VIP lounges, and a FIFA-standard hybrid pitch. Nearby, the Moulay El Hassan Stadium has grown from 12,000 to 22,000 seats, while the brand-new Al Barid Stadium and Olympic Annex Stadium brings Morocco's football infrastructure into the 21st century. In Tangier, the iconic Ibn Battuta Stadium expands from 45,000 to 75,000 seats, making it one of Africa's largest. Meanwhile, Casablanca's historic Mohammed V Stadium received a major facelift, blending tradition with modernity. And coming in 2027, the Grand Stade Hassan II near Casablanca will be among the world's largest stadiums, with 115,000 seats ready for the 2030 World Cup final. AFCON 2025 is about more than football. Morocco is preparing the full fan experience. High-speed rail links connect all host cities. Airports are expanding, and hotel capacity have doubled since 2022. All 9 stadiums will feature Spider-Cam aerial coverage, modern ticketing systems, and sustainable initiatives such as the solar-powered lighting and water recycling. Proud Moroccan fans are also emotionally invested. After the 2024 AFCON, locals have seen their cities host world-class football, and now they are ready for the continent's biggest stage. As one fan put it, Morocco has become Africa's football engine.
It's big work started for long years. We are talking about many years ago since they started the construction and building new stadiums, and
it's not they started to organize the competition from this African Cup. So they start for a while, so they have the much experience to give their best and to be the best in the future. So for me, I think they did well, and they do things as it should be.
Stadiums, great field, great supporters. No disturbance, no fights. Well, that's a great thing. And like transports and stuff, we have the World Cup in 2030. That's a big competition. And alhamdulillah, it's great for Morocco and for African continent.
Morocco's rise is not just about infrastructure. Its national teams ranked 12th globally in the latest FIFA rankings, while clubs like Casablanca Giants, Raja and Wydad, FAR Rabat and RS Berkane dominate continental competitions. The Mohammed VI Football Academy has produced stars like Naya Faged, Hazardin Ounai and Youssef En-Nesyri, turning the kingdom into a football talent powerhouse. Its under-23 team won a bronze medal at the Paris Olympics in 2024. In 2025, its exciting under-20 men's team won the FIFA Under-20 World Cup with a new generation of stars on earth. In the same year, Morocco's biggest star, Achraf Hakimi, was crowned African Player of the Year. Hosting and possibly winning the AFCON 2025 is both a celebration of Morocco's footballing achievement and a statement of its capacity to host the world. From Rabat to Marrakesh, Casablanca to Fez, Morocco is ready. AFCON 2025 is not just a tournament, it is Africa's stage, Morocco's pride, and a rehearsal for the world. In the heart of North Africa, football is no longer just a game. It is legacy in the making. Onyinyechi Obaro for News Central.
Beautiful package right there, put together by Onyechi Obaro. I'm talking about the 24 qualified teams who are now set to compete at that tournament. We keep talking about Morocco, everything that they have done well when it comes to football in Africa. What exactly was it that they clicked on and they got it right?
I think it's just, I think the word missing here is intentional. They decided to be intentional about developing and investing in football, and it's reaping tremendous benefits. Over the last half a decade to a decade or so, the king himself, the king of Morocco himself, has actually put his personal funds into ensuring that Morocco builds structures and trains the people that can operate these structures to ensure that they can reach the very levels that they want. And you can see it already bearing fruit. Of a first FIFA World Cup semi-final a few years ago in 2022, the under-17 team won the under-17 Africa competitions for under-17 players. The under-23 team won an Olympic bronze medal. The under-20 team won the under-20 World Cup. Now it just seems as if everything is pretty much set up for a coronation of Morocco as African champions. And everything they've done up onto this regard, I mean, look at this, 9 excellent stadiums all across the country. I mean, have you seen the quality of the hotels that the teams have been putting? Absolutely first class. And the connectivity between the cities, top notch. The fans are also looking forward to it as well. So Morocco have been intentional about developing football, and it seems as if the gods of football are favoring them. The biggest shock, if you ask me, will be if Morocco do not win the African Cup of Nations. But I think one team, maybe one team on this African continent, are capable of matching them player for player, grit for grit, talent for talent, ability for ability. I'll tell you before the end of the show.
Not Nigeria?
Definitely not Nigeria.
Oh my goodness. But should Nigeria be jealous when it comes to, I think, because Rwanda has actually done a lot when it comes to sport development, especially basketball.
Why should we be jealous?
But we are giants of Africa.
On paper.
Oh.
You know, it's one thing to say you're a giant, it's another thing to move like a giant, act like a giant, spend like a giant, invest like a giant. We're not doing that. We have a national stadium in Lagos here that's been rotting away for the past decade or so. Nobody's done anything about it. We have stadiums across the country that are crumbling. We have a Nigerian National League that is not even up to the, you know, to scratch across Africa, with clubs struggling to get into CAF Cup competitions. We're not giants. We're just paperweights, if you ask me.
Wow. Paperweight when it comes to Nigeria football. But Morocco doing everything that they can to make sure football is done in the right way. Now, all 24 qualified nations are set to compete at the tournament in Morocco, confirming full participation across 6 groups as Africa's flagship tournament draws closer. Squad lists have been submitted, although they remain provisional and may change in cases of injury before kickoff. Now, host Morocco headline Group A alongside Mali, Zambia, and Comoros, while Group B features Egypt, South Africa, Angola, and Zimbabwe. Nigeria lead Group C with Tunisia, Uganda, and Tanzania. Defending champions Cote d'Ivoire are drawn in Group F with Cameroon, Gabon, and Mozambique. Senegal anchor Group D with Algeria topping Group E. The confirmed lineup officially sets the stage for a highly anticipated continental showdown. And of course, in all of these groups, we talk about Nigeria hoping that they can finish up as top of Group C. But because of what we saw in 2025, talking about the World Cup qualifiers, Nigerian fans, football fans are not even hopeful.
So the thing about Nigeria is, with my experience, I've been watching football for almost 40 years now. Nigeria is probably a team I can describe as a Jekyll and Hyde team. The day you expect them not to show up is the day they end up playing champagne football. The day you expect them to roll over, to turn over the opponent and beat them black and blue, that's the day they forget how to play. At this Nigerian national team, they've shown before, even at the last Africa Cup of Nations, going into that tournament, nobody gave them a chance in hell to get to the final. But they did, and they nearly won it. If they'd had a good first half in that final, or if Coach Jose Peseiro had managed his squad better, they could have beaten Cote d'Ivoire in that final. So I honestly believe that while a lot of people are writing this Nigerian national team off, they might spring a few surprises. Don't forget, they were just together just a few weeks ago, played in the FIFA World Cup playoffs as well. Yeah. That also helps in terms of their preparation as well. So it's pretty much finishing touches here and there, adding 1 or 2 things, dotting a few I's, crossing a few T's. But I must confess that the addition of 5 players who have never been capped for Nigeria before is a cause of worry. It's never happened in the history of the Nigerian team. as many as 5 players.
Yeah.
That's at least 1/6 of the team. Never been done before. So maybe the coach knows something that we don't know. Maybe these players are supposed to be some kind of X factor. I'm not really sure, but it's a cause of worry for me. But then, like I said, this Nigerian national team are capable of anything. They are capable of playing 5-star champagne football. They're also capable of playing atrocious, abominable football. And also, there are also questions regarding their stamina, their staying power. Against the DR Congo in the World Cup playoffs, we saw them play an excellent 25 to 30 minutes. After that, they were completely clueless.
Yeah.
So it's very important for Eric Chell to understand and remember that football is a 90-minute game and not a 30-minute game. So he has to get his team to pace themselves properly over the course of a game.
Now, it also feels like Nigerians are afraid of change. We've been talking about us changing our football, sending a few players out of the team, bringing in new ones. Now we've seen new players, and we're complaining about them.
Well, it's not so much as complaint as we're actually confounded. Because, like I said, many of these players were never on the radar of the Nigerian national team. And it also begins to lend credence to what a lot of people say about how there's some kind of, player racketeering cartel going on in the Nigerian national team, where, some players get call-ups for favors. It's always been an allegation, never proven. Nobody has ever come out to say that I paid this amount of money to get to the national team. But when you get as many as 5 players in the Nigerian national team, it's like I said, it's never been done before. So it raises a lot of eyebrows. But then again, change is inevitable. There are some players who will be inevitably phased out. Some are retiring on their own of their own accord. Inevitably, we will now begin to look for a new generation of Nigerian national team players. I honestly hope that these 5 players, can be an integral part of the team because we need every single leg. Because I think that's what cost us at the last Africa Cup of Nations. Bad squad management by Jose Pesero. Throughout that competition, he basically used a core of 15, 16 players. Meanwhile, you had as many as 23. So that was 8 players who didn't see any action at all. That's 2 goalkeepers and that's another 6 outfield players. Now, if you had managed the squad better, I don't think they would have been burnt out like they were in the final. So let's see how many these players do.
All right, let's take a look at the groups. For Super Eagles of Nigeria, they feature in Group C. There's also Tanzania in that one, and it looks like an easy-peasy ride for the Super Eagles. Nigeria are ranked 5th on the African continent. In the world ranking, they are 38th in the world. For Tunisia, the cartage of Tunisia, there is also them ranked 6th, with them being 40th in the world. They have 22 appearances. Nigeria has 21. Uganda, the Cranes, they have 17th in Africa ranking, 85th in the world. They've got 8 appearances. Tanzania with 5 appearances. Easily, you would say Nigeria will top this group.
Rankings don't play football, Doctor.
Right.
Rankings don't play football.
Case study, Cape Verde, Madagascar.
Exactly. 11 players on the day have to show up and prove and show exactly why they are called so-called giants of Africa. We've seen it done before at the different Africa Cup of Nations where Nigeria were overturned by smaller teams. You mentioned Madagascar. That was at the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. Were beaten 3-1 by a Madagascar team who were making their debut. Nobody saw that one coming. And over the last few editions of the Africa Cup of Nations, we've seen so-called lesser teams really hit the high notes. Comoros have also been another team that a lot of people have been name-checking as well. And I will also put in a group with 2 East African teams. These 2 teams will be the hosts of the next Africa Cup of Nations in just another 2 years. So they see this as preparation for that competition where they intend to host and do well. Now, Tanzania, you know Tanzania very well. Their club sides have been doing tremendously well on the African continent. Simba, Young Africans, Azam, Singida Black Stars, all of them have been getting into the group stages of the CAF competitions. Nigerian teams have struggled to do that. So they are doing something. Another country intentionally investing in its football. The vast majority of its team is drawn, as many, I think 11 or 12 players are drawn from Young Africans and Simba. So that's a strong core of the team. So that's another dangerous team. We had Jeffrey Leah, who's the sports journalist in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, a few days ago. He promised us that Tanzania are going to be competitive. We also had Jeffrey Mwambu, also from Uganda, who also promised us that they are going to ensure that they serve Nigerian burnt jollof. So you see these teams, they've completely lost their fear of Nigeria. I've met journalists who told me that, anytime they heard Nigeria, they start quaking in their boots. I've met players who told me that just the sight of a Stephen Kesho and Ukechukwu reduced them to little boys. But now, can this Nigerian national team go out to a pitch and just even, I think that's the word we use nowadays is aura. just by their aura, just overwhelm the opposition. It doesn't happen anymore.
There's a Victor Osimhen. It just might happen.
Out of 11?
Well, we'll start from there. We'll start from there. Let's take a look at the other groups. Let's start from Group A now and see the teams who feature in Group A. I'm sure would see the likes of Comoros, Mali, Morocco, Zambia. Again, easily you'd expect maybe Morocco to top the group, maybe Zambia or Mali to follow through in this one.
Morocco definitely #1 team in this group. They've done incredibly well. And everybody's just expecting a coronation of Morocco in January next year. It will be the ultimate diadem, the ultimate crowning of tremendous efforts that they put together over the last half a decade, and it'll be the combination of all that investment. Yeah. Zambia have not exactly been an exciting team, but one team that is really strong and always remains a dark horse for me is Mali. They have strong, tough, physical, skillful players, and capable of playing a good game on a good day. They nearly defeated host Cote d'Ivoire at the last Africa Cup of Nations, leading 1-0. The opponents, Cote d'Ivoire, were a man down, but they contrived to lose that game. But with the new coach and the new mindset, knowing that they have the quality that they have, I expect them to qualify behind Morocco.
All right, moving on to Group B now. Of course, more interesting teams right there, and we hope for more magic to happen at the AFCON. Yes, more like a group of death for these two, South Africa and Egypt. There's also Angola, who can be a banana peel for any team in that group, and Zimbabwe as well. We know how the Warriors really did torment Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Absolutely. And just a quick mention back to the Group A as well. Comoros also named a team of entirely foreign-based players. So they also are good. They've been a good team over the last few years, so I expect them to be spoilers in that group. But this group, now you look at the Pharaohs of Egypt, who are, of course, record winners of the Africa Cup of Nations, 7-time champions, and then Mohamed Salah, who is in the latter stage of his career. Some have said that this is his final chance to win an Africa Cup of Nations. It's been held in North Africa in an environment that he's pretty familiar with, but a player can't do it alone. I've heard some really ridiculous takes on social media recently about how no matter how great a player is, his greatness is diminished if he does not win an Africa Cup of Nations. You're telling me that Didier Drogba's iconic status is diminished because he didn't win an Africa Cup of Nations? Are you telling me that you can check a lot of players across Africa? Jackpot, he never won an Africa Cup of Nations. George Weah, he never won an Africa Cup of Nations. But these are African football icons. So, but for Mohamed Salah, he has to be held by Egypt. He can't do it alone. South Africa, I mean, young, exciting, really talented team. We saw the kind of trouble that they put Nigeria through as well. Angola, a really good team as the Africa Cup of Nations as well. I remember they still have, I think, Mabululu, who was one of the stars of the Africa Cup of Nations last time around in Cote d'Ivoire, still in their ranks as well. The Warriors of Zimbabwe, another tough team. It's a COSAFA group, basically, and Egypt have to be at their best in order to qualify.
Definitely. I'm moving away from that. We talked about Group C feature Nigeria. Let's quickly run to Group D now. We have a bit of issue with Group D, so let's take a look at Group E and every other group that features in the AFCON 2025 tournament. In Group E, we would see Senegal, who are also title contenders, DR Congo, Benin, and of course Botswana. Again, the top two teams on paper would be Senegal and DR Congo. Okay, so earlier on in the show, I said that I think there's only one team that is capable of matching the Atlas Lions, and it's actually Senegal. They are also fellow Lions as well. Please disregard that Phoenix nickname. It's actually the Lions of Teranga. Talented team with some really good players playing for some of the best clubs on the planet. Really strong, really well supported. If you saw their last training session in Dakar, there were at least 30,000 people in the stadium watching their training session. Wow. That shows you the kind of passion that the people have for their national team because they know they are capable of delivering. So I expect them to definitely top that group because of their quality. The DR Congo, also a really good team. They've shown that they're capable of playing a competition format. Remember, they got all the way to the semi-finals last time around. This time around, they're going to get one better and get into the final. They also eliminated Nigeria and the playoffs to the Africa for the World Cup as well. So they're a team on the rise. But there's still a small matter of a FIFA adjudication regarding the use of, do I say players? Ineligible players.
Ineligible players. But I'm not sure about how that one is going to pan out. But their focus right now is on this Africa Cup of Nations.
And Group F, of course, more interesting teams featuring in that tournament with the likes of Cameroon, who it's been crazy over there in Cameroon. 2 different coaches, 2 different lists for the AFCON, but I think it's all settled now. There's also Gabon, Cote d'Ivoire, and Mozambique. Cameroon, with the confusion in the federation, do you think they'll get past the group stage?
I think they will. They have the talent to do so. They have a really decent team. The spine is not bad. The Manchester United winger Brian Mbeumo is going to be very key. But I want to see Baleba, the midfielder for Brighton. I think he's going to be very, very key for them. He's a strong, physical, hard-working presence who screens the defense pretty well. So I think Cameroon will be good value for their money. The Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire, defending champions, lots of pressure on them. Can they retain their title? I don't think so. Already they've been shown of their match winner at the last final, Sebastian Haller. But there's still a lot of talent in the team as well. But I'm not sure whether they have the same level of quality that they can raise as they did last time around. So Cameroon will definitely be in the mix. The Gabon as well, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, always still a threat. Even at the age of 34, still a good finisher any day. The Mambas of Mozambique will be looking to,
make a statement.
Basically seep their poison into this group. Cameroon can get it. Gabon can get it. Cote d'Ivoire can get it. Probably, if you ask me, it's probably the most open group in this tournament.
I totally agree with you because 4 of them, you can never tell to say that this is the exact team that would make it out of the group. Moving on from that one now, let's talk about, when we saw the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, it was all for the men who enjoyed the football and maybe the women as well, because they were quite colorful because we saw a lot of interesting things right there. But this time around, we talk about fashion, and Morocco have doubled as a fashion showcase country with teams blending culture and style. Nigeria led the way in custom green traditional attire with embroidered detailing, reinforcing their reputation as Africa's fashion pace setters. There was a time we heard that Nigeria won the best dressed team, and I'm wondering, your mates are winning trophies and you're winning the best dressed teams. Now, we saw Senegal as well in their beautiful attires as well, projecting calm authority, while Mali turned heads in striking white Bogolan outfits layered with woven overcoats. Comoros arrived in sharp traditional tops ahead of their opening clash with hosts Morocco. Zimbabwe opted for tailored suits embroidered with the Zimbabwe bird. So you talk about Africa, not just football. When it comes to fashion sense too, we own it.
No, you have to. That's the thing about Africa. It's an incredible melting point for some of the biggest human endeavors. Fashion, food, music. Look at the opening ceremony tomorrow. I think there's a fan fest that's going to have the likes of French Montana, who is actually of Moroccan origin. There's going to be Davido there as well. No surprising. I think he's the biggest artist out of Nigeria and definitely an African superstar. And some other North African musicians as well, especially from Morocco. So then also the fashion always has to be on point. And I've noticed that over the last few editions of the Africa Cup of Nations, it's been, I think it was maybe really started in Egypt, where teams started paying more attention to how they arrived, their attire. Back in the day, it used to be suits or track suits, but now, it just goes to show you about how big the Africa Cup of Nations is. It continues to be a major cultural reference point across the African continent. Look at teams showing up in traditional attire, showing their cultural heritage as well. I think it's amazing, and I think it's going to even get bigger, because now what's happening in these different countries, many of the major fashion houses and fashion designers will actually be bidding to kit the Nigerian national team. I think is it Dolce & Gabbana that does the Italian national team's suits, or Gucci? I can't remember.
I think it's Gucci.
Gucci or Dolce & Gabbana. I can't remember. But there are so many excellent fashion houses in Nigeria. Imagine if you had a competition for the very best one, the next one who will kit the Nigerian national team to the FIFA World Cup or the AFCON. It will continue to raise the bar even greater and greater across the Nigerian and African continent.
Definitely raising the bar right there. And for Nigeria, remember, loads of journalists will be there to support the Super Eagles of Nigeria in that one. Away from fashion. Yes, of course, I will be going to Morocco as well. But away from fashion, I checked the weather in Morocco. It's about between 10 and 15 degrees. So bet me, I will not be wearing any light shirts. No. I'll be wearing duvets over there in Morocco.
When you understand the fact that the average air conditioner in a domestic setting, the lowest setting is 16.
16.
And you have 10. Now we're talking 10.
Wow.
God be with you.
God be with me and every other person that will be in Morocco. Let's talk about a few players to look out for. Now, Africa's biggest names who headline the tournament as top nations chase continental glory. In Morocco, Nigeria's Victor Osimhen seeks redemption after World Cup heartbreak, while Egypt's Mo Salah targets a record 8th title despite mixed club form. Cameroon look to Brian Mbeumo to lead a new era following World Cup failure, with the forward also captaining the side. Double responsibility for Brian Mbeumo right there. Senegal's Sadio Mane remains decisive after starring in qualifiers, while Gabon pinned their hopes on veteran Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in what may be his final AFCON. Now, defending champions Côte d'Ivoire rely on Franck Kessie's experience and influence as Algeria again turn to Riyad Mahrez to inspire another deep run. You talk about African football. Some have downplayed African football, but when you take a look at the players, you can tell that loads of talents, firepower football players come out of Africa.
Yeah, it's no matter what you say, no matter what the likes of Jimmy Carragher say, Africa has always been a hotbed of some of the next best thing. And you can be reassured that the stands are going to be packed with fans, and most especially scouts from across Europe and beyond looking for the next hottest talent. Because the Africa Cup of Nations has always been a major source for scouting for many of these clubs, dispatching their top scouts to go and look for a player who they might find interesting. And don't forget, the winter transfer window is opening in just a few days as well, which means there's a possibility that deals could be struck. Otherwise, some of them might be moved towards the summer when many of these clubs might be more amenable to making a sale. But these players that you've mentioned, that you've name-checked, all of them are superstars in their right. Franck Kessie, the captain of the Elephants of Ivory Coast, he had a brilliant past few years, I think. He won the league with Barcelona, also won the league as well with, I think, AC Milan as well. And now he also won the Africa Cup of Nations as well. So he'll be looking to be the first Ivorian captain to win it back-to-back. That's going to be very, very key. Brahim Diaz has also been an immense star for the Atlas Lions as well. But I still think their biggest star is Achraf Hakimi, the most inspirational player. Unfortunately, he's injured, so they're trying to see, hopefully he might play some part, maybe before their third group game or maybe latter stages of the competition. But he's also been a key part of Real Madrid over the years. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, even at his age, he's still scoring goals aplenty for his national team. I mean, look at the record that he has on the screen there. It's 84 goals in 39 goals in 84 appearances. That's really, really good. That's almost one goal a game almost. So it's not bad. And you look at Victor Osimhen, a lot of people have said that he also needs that validation to be crowned African king, or worst case scenario being crowned maybe top goal scorer of the AFCON. Last AFCON, remember, he struggled. He only scored 1 goal in an entire tournament. So he'll be hoping that this time around he'll get his shooting boots going. Then, of course, the likes of Sadio Mane, Riyad Mahrez, who've been there, done that, former winners as well, played key parts in their nation's victory over the last few years when Algeria won it, when Senegal won it as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see for these individual players.
Which of them do you think will emerge highest goal scorer?
I would love to say Victor Osimhen, because he is the only true out-and-out forward here, alongside Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I think it's a straight fight between Sadio Mane, Victor Osimhen, and believe it or not, Brian Mbeumo.
Wow. The Manchester United speed star right there. Let's talk about Egypt, because we are running out of time. Egypt remained the most successful nation in Africa Cup of Nations history, winning 7 titles since the tournament began in 1957. Cameroon followed with 5 trophies, while Ghana have claimed 4. Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire are joint 4th with 3 titles each, with Côte d'Ivoire defending their 2023 AFCON title, which they defeated Nigeria 2-1 in Morocco. Now, Algeria and DR Congo have won twice, while 8 other nations have lifted the trophy once. AFCON 2025 will feature 24 teams across 6 groups and runs from December 21st to the 18th of January 2026. CAF will distribute $32 million in prize money, with champions earning $7 million. Away from that one, now we also know that CAF has suspended Zambia coach ahead of the kickoff because of ineligibility reasons. He doesn't have the right documents to be on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, CAF has stated very clearly that national team coaches must have a CAF B license minimum, which Moses Ciccone doesn't have. So it's really the responsibility of the Zambian Football Federation to ensure that he had one. So they can only take responsibility for it if they go into that competition coachless, or they have to find an emergency or interim coach. It really also shakes up their preparations. What it means that Sichone can go to the Nations Cup, but he cannot sit on the bench. There must be someone with a CAF A or B license minimal who is on that bench ahead of him. So that's really, I mean, I'm sorry, but the Zambia Football Federation dropped the ball in that one.
All right, so dropping the ball in that one. Well, as you go, I'll give you a bit of did you know in that AFCON tournament, and it's about Sadio Mane, Senegal's talisman and striker. He could have missed out on a glittering football career had he agreed with a wish of his late father. The 3-year-old was discouraged from playing football as a child because his father, a devout Muslim, wanted his son to concentrate on religious studies instead. Now, I know cases where we listen to our parents because we want to do their bidding, but if he had followed his dad, maybe we wouldn't have known about Sadio Mane.
Absolutely. He would have been imam in a local mosque by now.
Right.
Would have been a religious scholar. And definitely that football career would have never even taken root at all. But it's the way of the African, it's the way of children all over the world. Inevitably, they will find their way. So the world is grateful that Sadio Mane decided to take his own chance and head to France.
Of course, and he's still a religious football player as well. He still sticks to religion and applies football to it. So he's more like handling everything in good accordance. Well, that's our dry wrap on today's show, AFCON Express. This is the debut looking ahead of the AFCON tournament, which kicks off in Morocco in less than 12 hours from now. I say thank you very much, Babatunde Koiki, for making it to the studio.
Thank you.
Maybe the next time you get to see me, I just might be with my duvet, or rather my jacket, covered because it is very, very cold in Morocco. I am Udoka Njoko. Keep it locked down to News Central TV because we give you the best when it comes to TV programming. Have a great day.